The mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation and go to the grave with a song still in them. I am Trish Kinoti, and this is Adam's Rib. Welcome. Today we're going to deal with a topic that's a bit ouchy, but you can do this, trust me, I believe in you. Today we're going to talk about rejection. And yes, I told you it is going to be an ouchie, but you can do this, don't worry. We're going to take it way, way back. If you remember from the last episode, we talked about how we're going to trace what happened to us in the past and that have led the journey to where we are today. So we're going to start with the first thing about rejection, which apparently men don't tend to deal with very well. All it takes is that one rejection that sets the trajectory of your whole life, whether it's your choices, whether it's your mindset. But don't worry, we're going to get there. Let's start. So, dealing with rejection. First of all, I want you guys to go way, way back and think about what is your first memory of rejection. I told you we're going to get deep. Don't worry, you can totally do this. What was the first memory of rejection that you felt that actively impacted you at the time that it actually went through it? And then the second thing I want you to think about is what did that rejection feel like? Was it through someone's speech? Was it through how someone treated you or not treated you? Was it what someone said? Was it how they said it? Was it where they said it? What were the circumstances that led you to feel rejected? Was it subtle? Was it overt? Was it between just two people? Was it like in front of many people? These questions are very relevant, and you'll see why in a bit. So again, what does rejection look like to you? Let me set the stage. It could be family rejection. It could be rejection from other men. It could be your own personal relationships. You know that one girl in primary that you absolutely bonkers of, and when you finally had time to ask her out, she said no. And after that, you're like, you know what? Forget about the rest of them. That's the kind of thing I'm trying to ask you about. What did that rejection feel like, and who was it from? And the third thing is like, how have these rejections shaped your mindset on all these other areas of your life? From that one rejection, what was it about that actually led you to where you are today? Think about it. Was it the career that you really wanted? Did you, that one rejection from maybe being an artist, be like, okay, you know what, this further confirms what I think about myself, what I believe, and then I'm going to go the complete opposite. Was it rejection from your family? Was it rejection from your friends or people who you thought were your friends? Was it rejection from something that started off well, only ventured off? After that, you've noticed that you're not a fan of taking chances. You're not a fan of actually like putting your best foot forward because you know what, it's still going to end up the same. Was it financial rejection where you're just like, you know what, I'm going to put all my money into business, I'm going to put all my money into a particular venture, and that didn't work out, and then you feel, you know what, forget about it. Because oftentimes rejection can feel like failure, and failure can actually feel like rejection. Now, to be clear, none of those are actually true. None of that is actually based in anything realistic, but we're just talking about the first rejection that shaped your mindset, that made you actually maybe too cautious or too paranoid about actually taking the chances that you wanted, actually asking that woman that you actually wanted, or going down that path that you actually desired, because you're like, you know what, that first rejection said something to me. It set the stage for how I felt that life will treat me, how other people will treat me. But the worst part, it also set the stage for how you treated yourself. So once again, what did this rejection look like? Was it from your family? Was it from other men? Was it from women? Was it from personal relationships? Was it from friends? Was it from career? Was it financial? Like, just think about the broad scope of things. What was that first rejection that totally just sent you spiraling down another place? Now, you're trying to figure out, why am I drumming up these painful memories? I promise you, I'm not trying to hurt you. Remember, I told you this is a safe space. This is just me and you. Don't worry about that. But the reason I'm trying to get you to uncover that is A, because you've probably never even stopped to think about it. You've probably never even stopped to think about, when you look about what you're so unhappy with your life about, the areas in your life right now that you feel they're not really product as advertised. Like, I've done everything that I thought I was supposed to do, but somehow I'm not satisfied. I've done the checklist, I've done everything I'm supposed to do. I've probably failed, which is literally a guarantee in this life and has no indication whatsoever of your actual capabilities. It's just life being life. Actually, on that point, I do want to say something very important. I think is very important. There's structures in society that have failed us, and they were told the stories were like, I'm an 80s baby, so you know where I'm coming from. And we were told at the time that, you know what, work hard, get good marks in your exams and in school, and then you go get a good job, get married, have kids, and then I guess, just fade off into the sunset. So there was a checklist that we were supposed to fill. But nobody told us that along the way that life would simply just be life. That life would just life. Me and my friends always say, life is just lifing. No matter what you do, no matter how hard you try sometimes, it's just not going to work out. And that is not an indication whatsoever on you. Sometimes bad things just happen. Not because you deserved it, not because you didn't do anything, or because you did something. Simply the reality of existing in this world, in this human body, sometimes it feels like we're in a simulation. Like, I'm a big fan of The Matrix. So sometimes I feel like life on Earth is this one big failed simulation that has gone horribly wrong. And like our computer person has walked off from the laptop for like 10 years and they've forgotten that they've left us on play. And now we're just bumbling into each other and just causing a big fat mess. But the point is that life is just lifing. It doesn't mean that you did anything wrong. It doesn't mean that you're a failure. The rejections that you went through certainly were not an indication of how you should therefore expect life to turn out for you. So think back to those things that you wanted to try, the things you wanted to do, the people you wanted to be with, the person you wanted to become. Simply letting that one rejection completely throw you off track. Internalizing that rejection, internalizing that failure, internalizing when things just didn't go your way. What we are taught is that because you failed, what we're taught is that we took a wrong turn. What we're taught is, oh, you didn't apply enough. Let's say like you didn't do an exam. Oh, you see now, it's because you are watching Cartoon Network, or you're watching this. Like, it's always, society has trained us that when something goes wrong, it's because we didn't do something, or didn't do it well enough, or didn't do it frequently enough. And yes, there is room for that. There are times when, an extra effort would have been appreciated, would have maybe pushed it over the edge. But there are other times it is simply the reality of living on this on this planet. If grass is green and the sky is blue, I'm telling you, bad things are going to happen. The same way good things are going to happen. So I'm not speaking bad over your life. I'm just trying to paint the picture that sometimes life is just lifing. And it has nothing to do with you, what you've done or not done. So back to the original point. How have these rejections that you have gone through, how did they affect your mindset about certain things, about pursuing certain things, about embodying certain things? What did that rejection what does the story begin to tell yourself? What is the message you began to tell yourself? Don't try too hard or try too hard. Don't achieve too much, but also don't be stagnant. Like, it's the problem with rejection that it comes with contradicting messages, because once again, we were not prepared for the fact that life will simply not respond to some of our efforts, and life will just simply happen. Whether or not you sit on the couch today, or whether you go out there and pursue all your dreams, the point is that sometimes life will just happen. So to come back to the original point, which was, how have these rejections shaped your mindset? Not only about other people or other circumstances, but how have these rejections also shaped mindset about yourself? Because I promise you, those rejections had nothing to do with you. They were just simply rejections. And that's just something you're just going to have to learn to unlearn. That's another thing we're going to do at Adam's Rib. We're effectively unlearning so that we can learn and begin the journey to being our best selves. But first, we must understand where we are right now, what has contributed to where we are right now. So that's why I'm encouraging you to dig into the painful parts, because I promise you the only way you can move forward is to dig up those things that hurt. Because for too long, men have been encouraged to bury it. I remember, if you watch from the first couple of episodes, pressure and time. So we're just trying to relieve that pressure. We're trying to relieve that combustibility that is just, if that's a word, that is brewing inside you right now. So we're just going to let the pressure out, pole, like, when you release excess air. And that's what we're trying to That's what we're trying to do right now. So basically, that's what that is. So finding your way back, how have these rejections affected how you see yourself? And begin to untell yourself those false stories. Begin to unlearn those things that have affected you so deeply. Begin to interrogate why you even wanted, let's say, for example, that girl in primary. Let's be honest, did you really know anything about her that really shaped how she was the end all be all, how she was just the perfect one for you? And simply because that one girl said no in primary, every other woman in your life has paid the price. When we begin to really interrogate, why did you even like her in the first place? Yeah, you're going to uncover some very uncomfortable truths about some of your intentions, which is totally fine. Remember, we're trying to heal, not condemn, not intimidate, not talk down. We're literally just trying to break things down and begin to, we're trying to break things apart so that we can build it again together. So I'll encourage you to begin to think about those things, where you are right now in your life, the particular places where you know that you didn't give 110 simply because of a rejection from your past. Maybe there's a way that your relationship with your boys, with other men, within your family, those rejections that began to shape, began to speak into the other areas of your life that are so wanting, that you feel are lacking, or the other areas where you're just like, well, I followed the checklist and it's still not enough. Why? Because there's a part of you that was holding back from fully pursuing that which you wanted because of that one rejection that you faced. So don't worry, we're going to keep at this, and it's totally going to be worth it, because trust and believe, if others can do it, so can you, and you're worth the effort that this is going to take.